Hello, students. Welcome to the Smart World, the School of Complete Education. Chapter 8, Beginning of Settled Life. 8.1, Beginning of Domestication of Animals and Agriculture. 8.2, Special Skills and Various Occupations. 8.3, Community Life Based on Mutual Cooperation. 8.4, Structure of Housing. 8.5, Village Settlement. Kinship and family. 8.1, Beginning of domestication of animals and agriculture. Domestication of animals. Domesticated animals like the dog, goat, sheep, cattle, buffalo, etc. are useful to man in many ways. There are three main steps in the domestication of a species of any animal: capture of wild animals, taming the captured animals, that is, training them to live with humans, obtaining useful materials like milk, etc., from them, and training them to work for humans as a beast of burden. When the third step is achieved, the animal is supposed to be a completely domesticated. Domesticating animals and keeping them for our own use is called animal husbandry. In the sixth lesson, we have seen that the dog was domesticated in the Middle Stone Age. The dog is the first animal to have been domesticated. Dogs were used to help with hunting. The goat and the sheep were domesticated next. Agriculture. Archaeological evidence is available to show that agriculture first began out about 11,000 years ago in Israel and Iraq. Women were credited to have started cultivation. They might have used pointed sticks to sow seeds. Women in some tribes still sow seeds by this method. In order to help dig deeper into the soil, the stick was weighted using a perforated stone. In the previous lesson, we have learned that people had to stay in one place because of the nature of the agricultural work. Agricultural production increased considerably considerably after the plough pulled by animals came into use. Agriculture became the main source of livelihood. Now people began to worship nature and various deities for good crops. Essential things like sharing of agricultural tasks and water resources and the security of the village settlement gained importance. People in the village settlements established some rules and customs to manage these things. Thus, a social system based on agricultural came into existence. 8.2, Special Skills and Various Occupations. In the times before agriculture, people obtained the food such as meat, fruits, and roots by hunting and gathering, but could not store it for a long period. Therefore, all the men and the women in the community were continuously engaged in getting food. In the agricultural system, it became possible to store a food grains for a long periods. There was more food available than was needed by the community. Some women and men thus began to get spare time for experimentation and for using their natural creativity to develop special skills. Members with such special skills were given work based on those skills. Thus arose crafts like making earthen pots, beads, etc. It is believed that in the new Stone Age, women made earthen pots and other earthen objects by hand. 8.3 Community life based on mutual cooperation. The farmers in the village settlement were now producing surplus food. They needed a skilled craftsman for tasks like making agricultural implements and repairing them. Such as craftsmen were paid in the form of food grains or other articles. The craftsmen needed to obtain their raw material from long distances. The price of this raw material was also paid in the form of food grains, articles, etc. Thus, the barter system of buying and selling was established. The barter system also began to be used when there was a need to obtain raw materials, finished objects, other articles of a daily use, etc. from other places. Salt is an essential item. Most of the village settlements needed to obtain it from faraway places. Salt traders also traded the articles they received in exchange of salt. The salt trade helped the expansion of trade in the New Stone Age. The village community made rules for mutual cooperation in order to keep this system of trade and distribution of resources running smoothly. People responsible for the implementation of these rules became the chiefs of village settlement. The chiefs were also entrusted with the protection of a village. This is how the village administrative system came into being. Evidence of protective walls and moats around the village settlements of the New Stone Age has been found in the excavations. These walls were built to protect the village settlements from floods, wild animals, and outsiders who stole the village cattle. 8.4 Structure of houses. The houses at the beginning of the New Stone Age were made of wattle and dub. The walls were screens woven from sticks or bamboo, plastered with mud or cow dung. Later, the population of the village settlements grew because food was available in plenty. The village settlements became permanent and expanded. Still, later people began to build quadrangular houses of sun dried bricks. Some houses appear to have had more than one room. The houses were built very close to each other. Regionally different differences sorry Regional differences are seen in the styles of constructing houses depending on the local climate. 8.5 Village settlement, kinship and family. It appears from the plans of the houses and the village settlements that people staying there belonged to a single clan. It means that they were all related to one another. Thus, the entire village settlement was an extended family. People living in one house were close relations, but they were also members of the extended village family. A dead person was buried either in the house or in the courtyard. Perhaps the idea was that the persons born with the family should not get cut off even after death. Families would also bury various articles with the dead person for them to use even after death. Thank you.